Hello and good afternoon. I hope that my voice is reaching you on a day when you feel the presence of someone or something you love. Today is Wednesday, March 26th, 2025, and my name is Grover. This is Grover Reads the News. I have a news update for you. Would you like to hear it? If so, keep listening. If not, I'll offer again soon. And with that, let's hear some news. First up, we have U.S. news about gun laws in the Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court upheld a Biden administration regulation of ghost guns, which are firearms that are purchased partially assembled. Before the ghost gun regulations went into effect, law enforcement officials submitted at least 19,000 guns for tracing, but only 1% of them were traceable. The regulations that were upheld this week require these gun kits to have serial numbers and for sellers to conduct age verifications and background checks before the guns can be purchased. The 7-2 decision is a departure from the conservative court's previous rulings that had ruled against gun regulations in recent terms. Next, we have U.S. news about indigenous rights and land back. The state of Illinois has returned a parcel that the U.S. government stole in the mid-1800s. The U.S. government signed a treaty in 1829 with the Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation for the nation to retain control over 1,280 acres. But a few years after the treaty was signed, when residents of the nation traveled to another region to visit family, the government began selling off plots of the land to private property owners. The majority of the area that was returned to the nation this week has been a state park, which is part of the land that has been returned after almost 200 years of the nation fighting for their treaty rights. Next, we have U.S. news about the executive branch. This week, The Atlantic magazine broke the news that U.S. executive officers, including Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, the CIA director, secretaries of state and treasury, and the White House chief of staff were all discussing the specific plans, timelines, strategies, and methods of an upcoming attack on Yemen via the Signal app, and had accidentally added The Atlantic's chief editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg. This oopsie revealed what would normally be highly classified information to a civilian and a major news reporter, exposing not only the unprofessional chaos that characterizes this executive administration, which could put the military personnel lives at risk, but it also exposes disagreements within the executive office about the U.S.'s approach to international war-making. Zach Beauchamp at Vox argues. Vance was arguing that we shouldn't bomb Yemen because the shipping channel attacks are mostly a problem that affects Europe, and Europe should bomb people with its own money, while other officials were arguing that we needed to attack Yemen in order to prop up the efficient movement of global capitalism via shipping lanes. Next, we have international news about South Korea, including the topics of wildfires and adoptees. There are two separate pieces of news today out of South Korea. First, South Korea is experiencing the deadliest wildfires in the country's history, with 26 people currently reported dead. Many of them are people in their 60s and 70s. The fires have also destroyed historic and cultural sites, including a large temple that was built in AD 600s. Separately, this week, South Korea released findings from the government-appointed Truth and Reconciliation Commission on Adoptions, saying the South Korean government committed numerous human rights violations over decades in a controversial program that sent at least 170,000 children and babies abroad for adoption. It said the government's lack of oversight enabled the mass exportation of children by private agencies that were driven by profit, and it found examples of fraud, falsified records, and coercion, reports the BBC. This report confirms human rights violations in 56 of the formal complaints, with plans to review the remaining cases of complaints before the Commission's mandate expires in late May. Since the 1950s, South Korea has sent more children abroad for adoption than any other country, with most sent to Western countries. Most Korean adoptees were registered by agencies as abandoned orphans, although they frequently had relatives who could easily be identified or found, a practice that often makes the roots of these adoptees' families difficult or impossible to trace. Government data obtained by the Associated Press shows that less than a fifth of 15,000 adoptees who have asked South Korea for help with family searches since 2012 have managed to reunite with relatives. Finally, we have nature news about a Sharktopus. Footage of a shark swimming off the coast of New Zealand was stumping scientists. What was this orange mark on the back of a short-fin mako shark? Scientists zoomed in. Was it a buoy stuck to the shark's head? Was it an injury? No. It was an orange octopus suctioned to the top of a shark's head. The Maori octopus is the largest octopus in the southern hemisphere. The Guardian's Mariana Dunbar reports that octopuses are typically found on the seabed, which short-fin mako sharks rarely visit, making this incident even stranger. Researcher Rochelle Constantine said the unusual encounter is another example of how much the ocean and marine life is still unknown, including the crucial and diverse roles sharks play in the marine ecosystem. The Sharktopus encounter is a reminder of the wonders of the ocean, Constantine said. One of the best things about being a marine scientist is that you never know what you might see next in the sea. Thanks for joining me to hear the news today. Starting this week, I'm shifting over to once-a-week production in order to make this offering sustainable. If there's big breaking news, I may offer an extra bonus episode, but for now, look for me in your inbox and your ears on Wednesdays. The news can be a lot, and we don't have to obsessively track it, nor avoid it entirely. We can face the news together, remembering we are part of a world where people with different ways of living, different struggles, and largely shared hopes of a decent life and a future for the generations that come after us are here on Earth and with nature together. I hope you and yours get to experience the blessings of clean air in your lungs this week. Until next time, be well.